Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into another edition of the JP Peterson Show. Peter Blake, hard at work.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a beautiful day at Bucks Camp. You know, I strolled in this morning. It was 82 degrees. I was like, wow, this is kind of nice. It's quickly roasted up.
It has been. It's been
nice
very,
105.
very, very hot. And I told you off air, thanks a lot to the JP Peterson Show, because I went from Casper the Friendly Ghost to Revenge of the Killer Tomatoes. I'm getting red out here. I'm getting a little tan.
Getting
a little sun here.
Yeah.
Got some water. Took mom's advice, decided to wear a visor, which is always a good thing, and also have this right here to wash my head.
I got the Baker Mayfield reverse.
I see that. It looks good on you.
Hat.
It looks good on you.
Today.
Yeah.
Welcome into the show here. We got instant reacts from today's practice, which is still going on for probably another half hour. If anything breaks or gets strained, we will we'll give you the latest, as happened with the Yaya Diaby at the end of practice yesterday. So we'll get into that. The Tristen Wirfs press conference yesterday was really, really fun. So we'll talk a little bit about that. There's Olympic controversy and maybe one of the greatest performances in sports that I think I've ever seen last night from Simone Biles, which was absolutely fantastic. So we'll get into all that. The Rays sale reports, the sale that fell through, made its way to city council. We talked about this yesterday. We had the reporter from the New York Post on yesterday to talk about that story. So we'll talk a little bit more about that, where that's headed, fallout from that. And anything you guys want to bring to the table, put it in the comments section. We will get to it. Any questions, concerns, anything you got, bring it to the table. We'll talk about it here on today's show. All right, let's get to today's practice. And honestly, not a whole lot of, yesterday we had the Tristen Wirfs. We had the Yaya Diaby injury. And let me update you on that. Right now, no fractures. We found out from Jason Light yesterday, so no fractures. X-rays were negative. It's a sprain. And as our good friend Dr. Lugo said yesterday, sprains can be torn ligaments. So, but the MRIs came back positive. So the feeling is it's a high ankle sprain. Now, those can be anywhere from 4 to 8 weeks, depending on the severity of them. Could he be back for the season opener? Yes. So we'll see how he heals. I'm guessing that the Bucs are not going to push this and try to get him back for the opener if he's not ready, because he's so freaking valuable. But listen, injuries happen all over the league. They're happening. This one, though, I think the Bucs dodged the bullet in terms of the severity of the injury, because losing Yaya Diaby right now would not be a good thing. Would not be a good thing.
No, it would not.
He's obviously their premier edge rusher, and they don't have anybody like him, quite frankly. They just don't. And he's the difference, I think, between having a really good season and a great season. So hopefully he can remain healthy. As I said, these high ankle sprains have a way of reoccurring as the season goes on. So let's hope that they can get this taken care of. He can rest. It comes at a good time early in camp. So they've got essentially 5 weeks to the opener. So he could be ready to go, but we just don't know. We'll have to wait and see how the healing process goes. With stem cells now, healing process continues to shorten and shorten and shorten, because that does speed the healing process. Obviously, the Bucs use them. Most teams use them, I think, except for the Rays.
Amazing how that works.
Yeah. So I think we'll see. We'll have to monitor it, but I think in large part the Bucs dodged the bullet there with the Yaya Diaby. Today's practice, you notice the tight ends. The tight ends are really, really playing well. Cade Otton continues to get a lot of attention from Baker Mayfield. Had a couple of deep corner routes today. They've got a great, I see these reports nationally that Baker's having trouble hitting the deep ball. I don't see that. I mean, deep balls are, they're 50-50 for the most part. That's about the average. I think it's 48% in the league, depending on, which team you're talking about. I think it's about the average. So they're not easy to hit. They're 50-50 shots for the most part. But with Cade Otton, Baker has a great feel for his speed and the way he runs his routes, and this deep corner route that they run seems to be open all the time. Every team runs, and I'm not giving away any strategies here, but they seem to execute it really, really well, especially with Cade Otton. So there was a lot of blitzing going on today during the call-it period. Todd Bowles was sending the freaking house time and time again to get a lot of these running backs used to picking up the blitz. They did a pretty good job at time, but Kalen DeLoach, the undrafted free agent out of Florida State, had a couple of sacks yesterday. Had another. It's hard to tell sometimes if they're sacks or they're not sacks. They just blow the whistle. Obviously, you can't hit the quarterback. Sometimes the ball's coming out the same time that they're blowing the whistle, so you don't know. But Kalen DeLoach, at least to my eyes, has had at least 3 sacks in the last couple of days. So he's starting to flash. Now, barring any injury, Kalen's probably not going to get a lot of reps as an inside linebacker. But I think as a quick guy that and clearly Bowles is trying to see and get a feel for how good he is blitzing through the middle, the double A gaps and coming off the corners and some of those other gaps. So he could be a factor in a lot of the blitz packages. So Kalen DeLoach, undrafted free agent, starting to make some splash plays.
Yeah, I mean, and look, there's question marks about this linebacking crew, but make no mistake about it, it's all about KJ Britt starting from the very get-go. He's going to get every opportunity. Most likely he's going to be your starting middle linebacker, and then after that, there's kind of some question marks. Of course, you got the great Levante David, who continues to play at a high level. How long can he do that? So I think that would be kind of a question mark going into this season at this point. But you talk about DeLoach, we saw him on Tuesday night out at night training camp. He's definitely got the athleticism. People say he's undersized. They also, I'm not comparing him, but they also said Derek Brooks was undersized, and that kind of worked out to their favor. So we'll see how that all
He's got
works
great
out.
instincts.
Right.
He's got great speed. I think he's a guy that's probably going to take a little bit longer to make his mark in the league, especially when you're playing behind a Levante David and a KJ Britt. KJ Britt, by the way, on a check down today to one of the running backs, just absolutely thumped the crap out of I'm trying to remember who it was, Jefferson, I think. If that had been a live football play,
Mm-hmm.
he may have killed somebody. That guy, Bowles said last year he's our best downhill guy, and that means a guy that can hit up into right into the running gap, shed the blocker, knock the blocker, shed him off, and get to the ball, and that's something Devin White was never able to do. So KJ Britt, as you mentioned from the beginning, not only is he a better linebacker in the run game, and not great in the playoffs. The numbers don't look good for him in terms of coverage.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have to work on that a little bit. But, he's going to be mostly first and second down guy or second and long. I'm thinking he's coming off the field. But he's going to be a great presence out there. He's a tremendous leader, always has been that kind of guy. I love his energy, love the physicality that he brings, and having him in there from the very get-go. You're not going to have the MEs that you constantly have, mental errors, that you constantly had with Devin White, especially in critical situations where teams would pick on him in the red zone and first downs. So I think that's going to be a big upgrade.
And let's face it, when Britt was the starting linebacker, that defense improved tremendously. Like you said, those mental errors, it goes back to the Tony Dungy era where Dungy said, don't commit those mental errors because they'll come back and haunt you, not only defensively, but offensively. So that defense improved. I think the defense will continue to improve because, like Todd Bowles says, he always knows where he's at. He always knows where he needs to be. Mm-hmm. And maybe he's not the most athletically gifted linebacker on this team. He's probably the most intelligent.
Well, if you run a 4-4 like Devin does.
Besides Levante.
But you're running the wrong way.
Right.
You're just getting to the wrong place faster.
Correct.
So I'll take the slower guy who knows which way to run and where to go.
Right.
It's usually more effective in a football sense. What else did we see out there today? Judge Culpepper had a sack. Saw his dad, Brad, was here again today watching practice. So Judge had also I was eyeballing Vita Vea, and he's still got that ability he just goes through guys.
Yeah,
he just goes through. He was going up against the second team guard. I forget who it was. That poor guy. Poor fella. Vita, it was on the pass rush. He just fires out. And he does the chop,
right?
And it just chops to the kid's head, comes down. He swats him out of the way. I'm like, oh God, poor fella. He's just trying to make the team. He's not going to be a starter. And he looks up and there's 50. And and the next play he just hits him, throws him off, gets up into the gap, and then Vea comes off. The very next play, they run at tackle at his gap, and I think it was Judge Culpepper that went in there, and it's a gash run for 10 yards. So it's just when he comes off the field, and you notice this in the regular season as well. It's the run defense is stout. As soon as he comes off for a rest, they go right at his gap, and usually there's a it's a good play. So teams they notice when Vita's in there when he's not, and they attack that gap when he's not in there. So this slimmer guy, still a humongous human being, hopefully can play more snaps, and this is going to allow him to be, and the defense to be, much more effective. Yeah,
especially in this heat. And I know Warren Sapp talked about this years ago about Vea and his size and how the heat would, be. So I believe it's definitely going to help him. And I don't know about you, but he looks faster, and he still has that power. It's not like he's smallish. I mean, he's, like you said, svelte. Yeah, at this point.
Yeah, a couple other highlights here I wrote down. Great first 11-on-11 pass in the college drill. They checked to a slant to Mike Evans going up against Jamel Dean. Great timing from Baker. They beat the blitz, quick slant. Mike takes it in stride. Probably could have gone for 20, 25 yards on that one. Rock Jarrett had a couple of really nice deep balls. He runs really good routes, and whether it's Kyle Trask who hit him on one for about a 20, 25, 30-yard gain, or it's Baker, he seems to run really, really good routes, and those deeper balls find him, and he's a very sure-handed receiver. I mentioned Kalen DeLoach. Devin Culp, the rookie tight end out of Washington, also having a really, really good camp. I don't think I've seen him drop a ball.
Yeah,
he's got really, really sure hands, and this tight end alignment in this Liam Cohen offense is much different than the Dave Canales offense. They're not going to be asking them to inline block a whole lot. They're more spread out in the slot. They'll be able to angle block. They're not really asking them to, get inline, get on it, like an offensive lineman, fire off the ball and try to hit a big defensive lineman off the ball. So they'll be blocking, but they won't be blocking kind of in line, more athletic. So we'll have to wait to see how good a blocker Devin Culp is. Payne Durham is he's the biggest of the tight ends in terms of thickness. He should be a better blocker. If he can improve his blocking, now they might be able to use him in that way. Mm-hmm. He's been really good. Cade Otton's been really good. The tight end room, I think, was a big question mark coming in. A big question mark as far as depth. I mean, if Cade Otton goes down, what do you got? So
it's tough to say what you got at that
Devin
point.
Culp,
right,
and Payne Durham have stepped up. Sal Cannella, the guy they got from in the UFL from the Arlington Renegades.
Okay.
He's very Cade Otton-esque. Not a big guy, but he's very, very fluid, very fast, can really catch the football, leading tight end in the UFL. So if he were to go down, maybe Cannella gets a little bit of a run. But I think now Todd Bowles probably feels a lot better about that tight end room with this first week and a half of camp.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's another big-time question mark coming into the season. Is Cade Otton going to be able to step up? Because, again, going back to it, he had some critical drops last year, but the potential is there because we've also seen him make some big-time catches. And then after that, Payne Durham has to step up. What about Cokeep? Is he still listed as a tight end? What was he, a tight end, fullback?
I don't think Cokeep's going to make this team. I think, speaking of the different uses for the tight ends, this Liam Cohen offense calls for much more athletic tight end. Now, he can make it because of teams.
Right.
He could be used as a lead blocker in short yardage coming out of the backfield. I think that could be a role, but I think it's going to be tough for him to make the team. I really do, because he's just not an athletic catcher of the football. He gets out into space, and you've seen a great guy, great dude,
sure,
strong as a freaking ox,
right?
Very popular amongst his teammates, but I don't know if he has a role in this particular offense, but we'll see.
And don't worry, what I'm doing right now is sharing to all the sites out there. So share and follow.
You constantly.
I'm working.
I love it.
I'm always working. You always want me to get content.
That's right.
I get more followers. We got content today. We got followers. We even have phone calls if you guys want those. 727-255-0391. It's 727-255-0391. Lots of interviews to get to. Baker Mayfield, Tristan Wirfs yesterday. We kind of missed that, but that was kind of funny. And again,
I was there for the Tristan. I got a couple questions in yesterday. And
okay.
First and foremost, he walks in and he's got his spaghetti strapped bench. What do they call it? But
Gold's Gym 80s type of.
They have like a bench 13 club or something in
Right.
there that they have, Gedeke and all the offensive linemen. It's like this spaghetti strap thing, and he's got the shorts on, and just all the tats, and he's as comfortable in his own skin as anybody I've ever seen. That dude is like, check this out. I am. And his wife was there, his beautiful wife, and his young son is Julius.
Yes.
And he's a biggin. And he was.
We got confirmation of that yesterday. 17 pounds, 23 inches.
He's a big boy.
Yes.
He got some good lungs on him too.
Yeah.
Got some good lungs. Mama had to take him out of press conference. He's got some good lungs on him.
Okay.
So, and then they came in and they took a picture. And I've shared it all over the social media. I mean, he's just grinning. His wife's got this beautiful smile. The baby's got a smile on. It's like, this is what $140 million looks like, folks. This is even the 4-month-old gets it.
Yeah.
The 4-month-old gets it. It's such a feel-good kumbaya moment. It really was. And Jason Light, I asked him, of course it's boat parade time.
Oh,
And he's like, has anybody got a boat? Has anybody got a boat out there? I think Tristen could afford one.
so you asked about the boat parade.
Yeah,
See,
let's go.
Let's
go.
That's from our show. I asked that question. I want to know because if they do a boat parade, we're going to be live. We got the Wi-Fi to do it.
We'll be on a boat.
I'm not a boat person,
but I don't
way.
think. Listen, the Bucs are not going to plan one. We need somebody else to step up and plan one.
Okay.
Let's.
Well,
so,
who do you know? Because you know lots of
I
people.
know lots of people with
friend.
boats, big boats.
All right.
Big boats. Yeah. So listen, if somebody wants to step up, I mean, it's a thankless job organizing anything like that. So I'm out. I'll help any way I can, but I'm not going to be the tip of the spear. No freaking way. It's like organizing a golf tournament. It's the most thankless job in the world. It's fun, but no, thank you. So yeah, so who wants to step up? Which Buck fan wants to step up and organically get Bucks fans to start? Hey, we'll all gather in the basin by the convention center. We'll roll out the beer can island.
Love it.
Anchor up.
Love it.
Bucks flags everywhere.
I'm gonna take my
I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure we could. Some players will be involved.
Yes.
They would love to get involved.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's
do it.
and the show will be involved any way we can. I just don't think we're quite the people to spearhead something of that magnitude. But
why not? Anything is possible
That's
on
right.
the JP Peterson show.
Well, if you want to spearhead it, Peter, I will. I will hand off the responsibility to you, my friend.
I don't know what you're talking
Anybody
about.
else out there wants to let's get it going.
Yes.
Let's get a website going. I think right after the last preseason game, the weekend, before any NFL starts up, that would be fun.
Yes.
Super fun. Have that
Absolutely.
it's like a season kickoff party.
Why not?
Why not?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah,
I'm totally
I
down
think
with
the
that.
expectations are in the air. I think the electricity is here. You could see it
Oh, there's no
around camp. You could feel it around camp. You can feel it in these press conferences. They seem different. We talked to Tyke Smith the other day. We talked to Jordan Whitehead and Graham Barton. The excitement is there. You could feel the levels of excitement. Listening to Baker Mayfield talk to CBS, he said it best. We know our roles now. We know what we need to do at this point. Paraphrasing, and you'll be able to hear that later. But that's exactly what it seems like this attitude is. You're not coming in to what you have right now.
I'm looking at some of the comments.
Yes, there's lots of comments there, and we will definitely get to those. So you want to take a quick break real quick?
Yeah, let's take a quick break. We'll take our first break. We'll come back on the other side and get to the comments. We'll put those comments up there. So if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, put them up in there. You can do that on YouTube. You can do that on my Facebook, JP Peterson. You can do it on Twitter as well. We'll get those comments out there. So we're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Saw Scott Jeeves last night. Great to see you chat with him. He is a terrific attorney, folks. If you want to be represented by an aggressive attorney that will go head-to-head with your insurance company and not settle at the drop of a hat, Scott Jeeves is your man. So go to the JeevesLawGroup.com website. Contact them through there. Non-attorney spokesman, offices St. Pete and Tampa. Back in 3. We'll hear from Tristen Wirtz. Stay with us. Get ready to dazzle this summer with the largest jewelry collection at the Gold and Diamond Source. Feel the heat of July with the fiery brilliance of ruby. That's July's birthstone, ruby. Well, that's my birthstone. I'll take one. It's perfect for adding a touch of luxury to your summer style. Embrace the unique beauty and significance of July's gemstone for any occasion, from beach parties to evening soirees, and mark a special 15th anniversary with a stunning ruby, the traditional gem of this very important milestone. And take advantage of our exclusive offer, 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a $5,000 ring or watch or anything and pay only $83 a month with zero interest. And when you shop online, you can enjoy a special summer discount of 15% off July's birthstone. Make this summer unforgettable by visiting the Golden Diamond Source and finding the perfect piece to shine in the sun. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you.
Hey, Tampa Bay sports fans. This is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the U.S. Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I'm Peter Blake along with the great JP Peterson live here from Bucks Camp. Buddy, what's going on? You getting some of that shade there in the trees?
Yeah, it's not too bad in the
it's
shade.
not too bad.
But
Not too bad in the
sun
shade.
for you guys.
Yes.
We're going to do it for you guys. All right.
Absolutely.
Welcome back, by the way, brought to you by Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo joined us yesterday, with a great conversation. So if you want to go back to Thursday's show, the 11:45 segment, we talked, had some questions from the audience, talked about abstinence and alcohol, just something that he recommends, or at least moderation.
Sure.
Because it is so incredibly damaging, especially as you get older. I didn't realize there's actually a gene, a compound in your blood, in your kidneys, that over time does not filter alcohol as well. So as you get older, like you used to be able to go 2-3 days in a row, pop right back up and, get right back on the 11 o'clock news.
You can't do
Those
that,
were the
big man.
days.
Yeah, you can't do that anymore, big man.
Yeah, I can't do that anymore.
No.
And that's why. And so
Right.
we always get great stuff from Chris Lugo. And if you're looking for new primary care, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, Scott Reynolds uses them. You use them. Nick Geddes uses them. Tons of my friends have him as your primary care because he cares. He'll spend time with you and give you a personalized nutrition schedule, workout schedule. And if something pops up, You don't have to, run into the office and pay another copay. You'll be like, oh, let me just call something in for you. So
yeah,
it's like having your own personal doctor. It's fantastic. Couldn't recommend it higher. Bay Area Modern Medical Center. All right, we got some comments in here.
Yeah, I mean, it's the ones off your cell phone here, but I can lean down and look at some of these
Rick
right
said,
now.
damn it, JP, you said kumbaya again. That curse word should be banned.
Yeah.
Like Randy Gregory.
Yes.
I don't know. I like the word. And it's very descriptive. I mean, injuries are going to happen, Rick. That's part of football, okay? And we dodged the bullet. So maybe it was the kumbaya energy that caused the, high ankle sprain to be less severe than it might not have been. So
there you go. Could have been worse with Jordan Whitehead, too.
Yeah, Jordan Whitehead's just sitting out a couple days. That's a hematoma, as Lugo would call it. A bruise, we call it.
Yeah.
So he's just sitting out a couple days. So we're good. Haven't heard anything from today's practice, anything negative. Did not see any injuries today. So cross your fingers that that is the case. Any other comments?
Yeah. Plenty of comments here. How does Braswell looking? What about Chris Braswell? We saw him flash a little bit on Tuesday night. Did you see anything from him today?
He's always in the mix.
Okay.
He's always in the mix. And sometimes if you don't see guys making a lot of splash plays, it's not a sign of they're not doing anything. It's just they're doing their job. They're taking care of their gap. They're doing what they should be. Sometimes you see guys making splash plays, but they're going out of the the discipline of the defense, right? And sometimes, and that's not good. That's a Devin White. So you don't want that. So I don't, I asked Todd Bowles about him the other day, and he's like, he's doing fine. He's doing great. He always seems to be in position. He's not getting, destroyed out of his gap like some of these other young players you see all the time. He's a strong young man. He's got great, again, from Alabama, great program, great discipline, already a seasoned pro. When you talk to him and you watch him go about his business, I love those guys. So he'll contribute. There's no doubt about it. Now with Yaya Diaby out, he'll probably get some more reps.
I'm looking at this shot. Great shot, by the way. Thank you very much for helping me out set that. Look at those flags in the background.
The flags are flying.
All right,
isn't that a beautiful thing?
It is. The wrong place faster. We're talking about Devin White or JTS. Says Ray Kennedy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you already read that one. Let's see. What else? Bucky Irving. Any splashes so far from him? I mean, we kind of talked about number 7 and number 15. That's what it's been consistent throughout this camp. Bucky Irving today, did he show up?
I saw one play where he got destroyed in the backfield by 2 blitzing corners.
Yeah.
I think that was more on Kyle Trask. He kind of hit his helmet like that was on me. It's, if you have a draw play called where you're going to slip it to the running back and both the corners are coming off the edge and they're free, it's like I don't know what he's supposed to do in that situation. It's a bad play. I think he's supposed to get out of the play, and he didn't get out of the play.
So Kyle Trask, that's the reason why he's.
Listen, I don't know if it was definitely his fault, but he hit his helmet like it was his fault, like dummy.
Right.
So, so that's not Irving's. That's not Bucky Irving's. I'm just trying to read the tea leaves here, folks. I don't know what the call was, but that looks like me after I missed a 3-foot putt. You dumb.
Oh, well, that looks like me the other day when I didn't get live here. All right, Michael says asking about the onside kick rules. And the kickoff. You watched the game last night?
Watched the game a little bit of the game last night, but also we went to a little symposium here yesterday with the NFL officials. The NFL officials are here this week, and they always bring the media in to talk about the new rules.
Oh, wow.
Which I always find very, very fascinating. We had a nice Q&A. I'm trying to remember the official's name. Tay, I believe his first name was, but great guy, answered all our questions. And I asked him about the new, what in their experience so far, which is limited, on the new kickoff, what are they going to be looking for? What fouls, I'm guessing there's going to be a lot of holding in that, because a lot of guys in space, that's something. But he said we just really don't have a read on it yet. We haven't seen enough. We've watched a lot of the old XFL film, but we basically said we haven't really got a feel for it. I like the new kickoff. I really, really do. It looks weird. It just looks weird. But I was watching it again here today, and it just looks weird. But I think we'll get used to it. The thing is, we're gonna get tons of returns. I think we're going to get tons of returns. Last year was a league low in their history. Only 20% of kicks were returned. That's just, why do it at that point? So their idea is to do it, but do it in a safe way. And I think they've hit on something here.
Well, and Devin Hester is going into the Hall of Fame. So how many kickoff returns do you think Mr. Hester would have with this new
more?
rule?
I think more.
Right.
I think no question. Of course, the old kickoff return was great, and you had great collisions, all that stuff. But they're trying to get that out of the game for safety. I get it. But I will say the hip drop tackle. At first, I was kind of worried about that, but they really explained it well yesterday. And because I'm like, oh, there's just going to be all these flags on these tackles. It's so subjective on it, whether it's a hip drop or not. But there's 3 criteria to actually meet the hip drop tackle penalty threshold.
Okay.
And it's grabbing the player from behind, right? Number 1.
Okay.
And then, kind of sort of like the horse collar, and then dropping your hips, leaving your feet, and pulling him backwards. So all 3 of those, so as to catch their legs underneath the Kyler Murray injury.
Okay.
So that's why, and it's he said it was 25x injury rate as to regular tackles with a hip drop tackle.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot. That's a lot of injuries, and they're typically very bad injuries, as he explained it. So you're not going to see a ton of calls. So you got to read all those thresholds. What they're trying to do is just get it into the players' heads. If you're in this situation, and I hate to say this, but it's more like just let it go. You're going to get penalized. It's better not to tackle a guy like that than to try and bring him down.
Right.
So it's just, you're going to slow him up. It's not like the guy's going to score, but they just don't want that tackle. And I think they're just trying to put it in the players' heads. If you get in that position from behind as a defender, you can't do it. You can't leave your feet. You got to stay on your feet, because if you stay on your feet, you're going to pull them. But you're not going to fall on their legs. And I think that's what they're trying to get out of the game. So when you hear the officials explain it the way they did, it put me more at ease in terms of, oh my God, we're going to see these flags all over. You're not. I think you got to meet all 3 of those criteria to get the flag. I think it's going to be rare.
Well, hopefully it is, and hopefully it doesn't affect the Bucs in any way, because Todd Bowles talked about this a couple months ago. We don't teach that.
Right.
I tell you what, you want to go out to the Tristen Wirfs press conference?
One more thing on rules, because
Okay.
I asked a question. I don't know if you heard about the Hawkeye technology, which they use in tennis.
Yes.
Okay, so I asked him, I said, I know you're going to be experimenting this in the preseason. Like, what's the feedback so far? How is it going to be used? Do you know anything about it? He's like, yeah, we're working with it. We're talking about it. He said anything with technology that's going to help us spot the ball. There'll be a chip in the ball. So is helpful. So it's not like, you're getting rid of my chain gang. I think it's high time we get rid of the chain gang, because players have been injured.
Yeah.
With those chains on the sideline, and the guys that hold them have been injured. There's no need for it right now anymore. It's more precise with the lines. We can do it with technology, and I think that's a step forward. So they're experimenting with it in preseason, or I think maybe in the lower. Maybe in the XFL. I'm not exactly sure the dynamic, but I think we'll see some of it in the preseason. And I think it's here. I think it's here to stay. I think you'll probably see it implemented, if not next year, certainly the year after.
All right. So let's go out to James here. Shows like Get Up seem more like Dak Prescott's agent. They never mentioned Bucs signing their own free agents. Yesterday finally mentioned Bucs might be better this year. Amazing how ill-informed media is. And once again, the national media disrespect of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers continues.
And it's a great thing.
Continues. Yeah.
It's a great thing.
Yeah.
You want actually, we have some sound.
We do.
From I think NFL Live, Marcus Spears and Dan Orlovsky saying, talking about the Tristen Wirfs signing. And then, it's like the Tristen Wirfs signing is everybody go, oh, that's right, the Bucs are in the league. Yeah, I know they've been to the playoffs the last 4 years, one of only 2 teams to do that, and they've won a Super Bowl in the last 4 years, and they won a division the last 3. We probably wow, look at Tristen Wirfs. They re-signed Mike. It's like, hello, right. Yes, you know. So it's like this epiphany. Like, yeah, you know what? The Bucs might be good.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Do we have that sound?
We do have that sound here. Let's go out to that. Let's see. Here it is, right here.
Courtesy
I'm telling you right now,
ESPN.
when you watch Tristen Wirfs play football, he worth every single penny.
Wirfs is worth it?
Wirfs is worth it, bro. I'm telling you.
Why do you say that? Why do you say that?
The physicality and the run game, it's
so
hard to
big.
find two-dimensional, man. Like, you got some guys that can pass set, and they phenomenal at keeping guys off the edge. But sometimes when you want to run left or you want to run right and you got a road grader, like he can be in the run game, that's difficult for D-linemen.
He plays really good. He plays with really good leverage, too. The wrestling background shows up for him.
Absolutely.
I think Tampa's like a sneaky good football team this year. Maybe not as, obviously.
You think they can repeat as division champs, right?
I do. I think them and Atlanta are obviously the favorites, but playoff football team last year and pushed Detroit. And obviously Detroit had, the ending of their season. But if you look at this offensive line, the guy in the middle is probably the most important part to their offense. Graham Barton, who's their rookie center that they took out of Duke. If he's able to play at a relatively high level, this is an offensive line that is going to try to physically maul you. And then you've got two really good receivers that are proven. McMillan, right side of your screen there from Washington, I think is going to be a fantastic pro. K. Dotton at tight end, and White is a dynamic and dual threat back. If this offensive line can play at a good level, this is going to be a good football team. Now, Liam Cohen, who's now the offensive coordinator, replaces Dave Canales, head coach for the Carolina Panthers. I don't see a drop-off in performance by anybody in there. I really don't.
So there you go.
Wow.
It's
Shocking
amazing.
Development.
We've kind of been talking about this the last couple of months, but ESPN, finally caught wind of it.
Well, listen, these guys, they don't want to talk about the Bucs because the audience meter goes down. They have audience meters, and they can tell how many people are watching the show. And when they talk about Dak Prescott's contract for the 15th billionth time, the numbers go up and the meters go up. And then when they talk about the Bucs, the meters come down. So that's the way they do their business. But sometimes when they have a piece of news like this that they can't ignore, a guy becoming the highest paid offensive lineman in history, they have to spend some time looking at the roster. And it's like, oh, wow. And I love what Marcus Spears said, and we talked about this yesterday at length about Tristen Wirfs. He's such a special player, and especially when you come out here and you can watch him, up close as a technician in one-on-one drills and working, like I said yesterday, working against Yaya Diaby. I put up a little clip on my on social media yesterday, and Yaya comes with such power. And you see him against Luke Gedeke. When he hits Luke goes back.
Right.
And Luke's a big dude and a really good right tackle. He goes back and he's off balance, and then and it's not every time, Luke holds his own. But it's probably more 50-50 from my, vantage point. But against Tristen, he hits him and it's just like nothing. Mm-hmm. Tristen is never off balance. His feet are moving. It's like a ballerina. He's 335 pounds, but he moves like a running back.
His leverage is great.
His leverage is great. He's always on balance. You rarely see him off balance. He's always in position. He's always moving his feet. He's just so good. And then in the run game, he has that ability. It's like Marcus says, the great pass blockers are, probably longer, taller, athletic guys. So it's a little harder for them to get under guys and move them out in the run game. Tristan's 6'4". But he still has long arms. But he's 6'4". He's not 6'7". Some of the greater tackles in the league have been 6'7", 6'6" guys. So he's 6'4", but so he can still get under guys and move guys in the run game.
Right.
And his technique is just absolutely perfect. That wrestling background that you always mention, it's real, and it really helps you maul people and stay on balance and stay in phase. And he's just that good. He's worth every penny.
He worth every penny. Absolutely. And I tell you right now, if you have a scouting background out there, I'll just give you some advice, even if you don't want it or not. If you want a tight end, you draft a former basketball player. If you want an offensive tackle, you get a wrestling background. That's how it works. So
that helps. Playing different sports.
Yes.
You got a youngster out there.
Oh, feel that wind.
That's a borderline cool breeze right there.
I'm telling you, it keeps on going, man. Wow.
Now, if you have a young athlete out there, and I talk to coaches all the time about this, allow them to play multiple sports. They'll be better athletes when they get to high school, and they won't get burned out on a single sport. So many of you parents are like, baseball? He's a baseball player. No. Let him play basketball. Let him play football. Let him play soccer. Help his feet. Let them play multiple sports, and in the end, they will be a better athlete. The greatest athletes of all time. Look at Michael Jordan. He played baseball.
Yes.
Not really well, but
he tried.
He played baseball. But Tristen Wirfs was also a wrestler, also played baseball growing up.
Mike Evans, I believe, played some basketball. Yeah. Did he not?
Yeah,
yes.
And Tristen is such a great story, a human story if you don't know it.
Sure.
Single mom, has a sister as well as in med school that Tristen is paying for. A single mom, worked at Target, became a manager, and worked her way up, with 2 kids. It's really, as many of you know, it's extremely difficult. But kept the kids involved in sports and that was their outlet, and just obviously taught Tristen how to be a wonderful human being. First of all, everybody is drawn to him, everybody loves him, and it's a great heartwarming story when you get generational wealth. And he says his mom's going to be coming down this week, and mom's getting a new home, and I'm guessing mom, unless she wants to, is not working another day in her life.
Absolutely,
which is really, really cool, because it's time for mom to take a break. You done good, Mom, and thank you for bringing us Tristen Wirfs.
All right, the lovely Ashley here says, do we think there will or won't be a prenup when Tristen makes her Miss Wirfs?
Are they not married? Like Ashley,
I thought they were married.
Yeah, I thought so. That maybe they're not.
All right. Let's.
But
see
will
here.
there be a prenup? Only. Thanks, Ash, for that question.
Thank you.
Way to ruin the great kumbaya story once again. I'm telling this great story of family, and you got to interject the money into it, right? Thanks a lot. Right, appreciate that. But yeah, I would suggest a prenup.
Okay, well there you go. Of course. Let's see here.
Having been where I've been, I think prenups are always a good idea.
So we read that one. Let's go out to
because
John
prenups takes money out of the equation. People think it's a money thing, but it's not. It actually takes money out of the equation, and it's the relationship that counts.
Absolutely. All right, let's go out to John here. Jake Hansen, graduate of East Lake High School up in Ellis County, started calling linebacker for the Houston Texans last night.
Nice. Thanks, Johnny.
Yep. Earl Harris III. Go Bucks. We thrive on disrespect.
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yes, we
we
do.
are coming. Let's go out to William here. That and a lot of media talk about Jim Harbaugh and Aaron Rodgers, which is also in the news. I mean, Jim Harbaugh starting out with the Chargers there. Justin Herbert already banged up. Let's see what he does. And, of course, it's always the drama of Aaron Rodgers as the young and the restless.
Getting into, I won't say a shouting match, but certainly a pointed conversation with Garrett Wilson.
Yes.
You just don't see that here. I'm not saying it's horrible. It happens, all the time, but you don't see that here.
No.
You don't see it here. And,
no, you don't have to see it here.
No,
so
we don't want to see it here.
All right, let's go out to James. It's like Adam Schefter had no idea who Tristen Wirfs is. Adam Schefter being his brother.
I think Schefter was just trying to get Marcus to explain more to maybe some of the less learned.
Yes. Yes.
Sometimes we ask questions like that on shows, not because we know the answer, but we're asking it to maybe, from a perspective that sometimes football players, they get a little bit stuck in things that they know and assume everybody knows that. And so, it's always a good idea to ask that question.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what that is right now, but we'll ignore it. Dan is generally positive when talking about the Buccaneers. He does not gush about his former team, but he's fair. Dan is good people.
Love him.
Scott Broadway says called in and left a message.
ESPN.
Go Buccaneers, fire the cannons. All right, we didn't get the message there, so if you want, I guess we'll take some calls after we go out to the Tristen Wirfs interview there. ESPN will only talk when the Buccaneers show them playing the Cowboys or Aaron Rodgers. Good stuff.
But it was funny when Brady was here. That's all they could talk about. Yeah.
Here's a good question. How does the new left guard Bredesen look? Is he a bigger dude?
Yeah, much bigger dude. And frankly, he was started before Opeta got hurt. Bredesen, I think, was winning the job. So I think he's an upgrade. He's not a great offensive lineman, but if he could just be average, you're not going to have 5 All-Pros across the front. All right. But if he could just be average and get a nice working relationship with Tristen Wirfs, that'll be good. And I wouldn't be surprised if Elijah Klein did not take that job by midseason.
Absolutely. I would not be surprised either. And I think that's the reason why, you can't sleep on Jason Light when it comes to drafting offensive linemen, especially in the later rounds, because it certainly seems like he loves to do that.
Yeah. Any other comments, questions?
Not really. No, we're
all right. Let's take another break, and then we'll come back with the Tristen Wirfs audio. Great press conference yesterday with Jason Light as well. I thought Jason had some very interesting things to say as well, and some great smart-ass comments too. He's a funny dude.
He is.
Jason Light's a funny dude, man.
Him.
I love that guy. He's tremendous. So good to have him around. He is the architect too, man, and should be the honorary chairman of the boat parade.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's go. Let's
Do
get
it.
him up on the freaking.
Let's go.
Put a captain's hat on him.
Yeah.
Ahoy, matey. Let's go. All right. We are brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. They just saved me $500 on our homeowners insurance. What? Saving money on homeowners insurance? Yes. New companies coming to Florida. Maybe have some lower rates for you. Check it out. It's free. Call them 813-877-7799 or ItalianoInsurance.com. Ask for charity. Great customer service. And they'll shop it around for you. Maybe they save you some money. Let them do that for your auto as well. Back in 3. Stay with us. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best of the business. Golfers, listen up. The hottest new driving range craze has come to Rogers Park in Tampa. The Top Tracer range is now open 10 to 9 p.m. And just like you see on TV, every shot is tracked for yardage and accuracy, giving you immediate feedback. And best of all, you can virtually play the top courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with your buddies. Plus, great food and drink options available in the well-appointed hitting bays. Very comfortable out there. Reservations highly recommended, starting at $25 per hour, including balls. Reserve at RogersParkGolf.net. That's RogersParkGolf.net. See you there.
Let's go.
Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here live from Bucks Training Camp. I'm Peter Blake, along with the great JP Peterson. We got to go to the Tristen Wirfs press conference.
Great press conference yesterday. Typically, every big signing will bring on all the media's here anyway, so they hastily put this together. His teammates showed up. Much of his offensive line teammates showed up. Baker was there, his wife, his kids. So it was a really great moment. And it was the largest contract in Buccaneers franchise history too. So it's a seminal moment. And he's a guy that I think is going to be wearing a gold jacket as well. So, this is it's great to be a Buccaneer fan right now. It's great to be a Buccaneer. We have the highest paid safety defensive back in the game and the highest paid offensive tackle in the game, and 6 or 7 other guys that are Pro Bowl type players. Yeah. So things are good. All right, let's head on out to this interview yesterday with Tristen Wirfs.
Sorry, we're a little late. I had to change. I didn't want to wear the same thing Tristen was wearing. What an awesome day. Relief. It's I said back in February that to sign all the guys back that were about to walk out the door in free agency, including Baker and Mike, Levante, Antoine, Chase. There's brought back Jordan Whitehead. We get this one done, we should do a boat parade because that's the greatest offseason I can imagine since I've been here. So if anybody has a boat, let me know after this. What's that? Do we have a date yet? No. If anybody deserves to be the highest paid in the franchise history and highest paid old lineman in history of the NFL, it's this guy right here. And it's a testament that his teammates are here, and along with Meredith and Julius. But teammates are here. Everybody's excited for Tristen because of what he embodies as a leader, a person, player, freakish athlete, all those things. But he just means so much to this organization and what we are trying to build here in terms of the culture with Coach Bowles and what he has done. And this is the tightest knit group I've ever been around in terms of a locker room. And a lot of that is because of Tristen. So I'm going to turn it over to Tristen.
Yeah, it's exciting stuff. I mean, having the guys here, having Meredith here, having the baby here, it's been an insane 4 years. And here we are. It's been a lot of fun, a lot of memories, and a lot more left to come. It's pretty awesome.
Tristen, we're not surprised that this got done. It did take maybe a little longer than you wanted to, but you couldn't help but notice the amount of hugs you got on the field. I don't know, maybe they're looking for you to buy dinner tonight, but
yeah.
But in general, just what does that mean to you? Because obviously there is kind of an inevitability about this, but just the reaction from the guys here right now.
Yeah, no, it makes me feel really good. I love it here. I've loved every minute here. I think Jason said a little bit ago, we have a really tight-knit group, I think, across the board, coaches, players, support staff, everybody. Everyone's got their hand in the pile, and it meant a lot to me. Everyone was really excited and happy for me. It was super cool. I gave Coach Bowles a big hug, Jason a big hug. It was awesome.
What does it feel like to be the highest paid offensive lineman in NFL history?
I think it's pretty cool. Don't know if it was necessarily, a goal, coming in the NFL, but it's just a lot of hard work, trying my best, to come out there and be the best teammate I can be, the best player I can be. Wouldn't be here without all these guys. So it's just pretty cool.
All offseason, you stood in the back of this room and the other room as your teammates got these new deals. What does it mean to you to finally have it be your turn and then to have so many of them in here with you? Yeah,
it's pretty awesome. I was there training. I just wanted to be there to support the fellas. Mike, Baker, Antoine, all these guys. So I actually wasn't there for Mike, so I'll take that back. I wish I was. I didn't know it was that day. But no, to have these guys here support me it means the world to me. They're my best friends. We bleed together, we sweat together, we cry together. It means a lot.
And I'm pretty sure you were probably wearing that shirt as well.
I was actually my bench row record shirt. I think I was wearing my black and red one.
First thing that Baker said to you after he found out the deal was done?
He gave me a big hug right outside the equipment room this morning. He said, "You deserve it, brother," and happy for me.
One person that's not here is Mama Works. What did you say to her when this deal got done?
I called her last night. I said, "We're damn close, Mom," and she sent me. I think she sent me like 3 text messages. I got a reply, but I'll probably call her right after this. I think she's coming down this weekend. Just that we did it, it's went through a lot growing up. She had my back every step of the way. Just wanted to make sure I had everything I needed to go out there and have fun, and now we're here.
Question for both of you from each of your perspectives. A lot of deals recently, larger deals within the league have been 4 years less. What does that 5th year mean for each of you in terms of your commitment to each other, as well as planning purposes for each side?
I think, I don't really want to be anywhere else. It's pretty nice here. So I think just doing what I can to, I think both parties were happy. Tampa's a pretty good place to be.
It was important to us to make sure we have Tristen as long as we can, and hopefully he retires a buck. And our other goal was to make him the highest paid athlete from Mount Vernon, Iowa. So we surpassed that, and that was so we hit on all cylinders here.
Mount Vernon.
Jason, you kind of mentioned that this is the best offseason that you can remember in your tenure here. What did it feel like to finally get this done every step of the way?
You know, it's relief. I really can't put it into words. It's just really excited about this. Really grateful for the people that are working for me, with me. Mike Greenberg, Jackie Davidson on the contracts, John Spytek, and the scouting group. You know, there's a lot of bad things about COVID, but there was one good thing about COVID. It was the draft that year when we got Tristen and Antoine. So, you know, got people just working hard, especially on the contract. And Jeremy Newberry is Tristan's agent. We had a lot of going back and forth, but very patient on his end, and very good agent. And with Mike and Jackie, it's taken a long time. These things seem like they'd be easy to do, but there's just a lot of hammering things out. But just very grateful, I guess, to answer it in a short way.
Tristen, it's rare around the league for a guy in your position to come out here and practice and be at OTAs. Why was that important to you, and what does that say about the camaraderie and leadership on this team?
I just wanted to be out there with the guys. You know, OTAs. I was in the weight room. I was watching out the window like that SpongeBob meme. You know, with Squidward watching them, just wanting to be, wanting to be out there, but knowing what's at stake. And I think coming out here and during these first couple days of training camp, just doing as much as I can. Individual, being there with Schooley and Luke talking about technique stuff. Biggest thing was I just wanted to be with them. I didn't want to be an asshole sitting out, so I was just trying to do what I can to be around still and be there, be in their ear, have them tell me, looks they're getting and stuff. Just be there as much mentally as I could.
Tristen, you're entering year 2 at left tackle now. How much more comfortable are you? And obviously, you've got designs that went after dominating the position at left tackle this year. But just tell me about your comfort level heading into year 2 at left tackle.
Yeah, compared to last year, I was going through it last year. No, I feel good. It was nice to kind of go through an off season and not have that stress of it kind of looming over me. Just knowing I can, go get to work. More comfortable in my stance, more comfortable in my get off. Everything. So I can just kind of get down to business. But definitely feel a lot better mentally. But I'm excited.
Jason, what's this mean for you to be able to go through the roster rebuild that you had to do with all that dead cap money, with some of the older players retiring, and now you've got this core group intact for the next several years?
It's been, I think back at the time last year, I said that it was challenging, but it was a fun challenge. It's what the scouts are wired for. Bringing in, turning over the roster, and have fun with it. Trying to find sleepers, trying to find value, and but then also to tie a bow around it with rewarding our own, like Tristen and Antoine and Mike and Levante, and bringing Baker in and having seen the success that he had. It's just very rewarding for all of us.
Jason, it's so hard to find good offensive tackles in this league. It's almost impossible.
Yeah, no shit.
Great ones, right? But can you just talk about the bookends that you have with Luke Gedeke and the huge strides he made last year at right tackle, and then having a Pro Bowler Tristen?
Well, it's a great feeling when you, as a general manager or front office coach, owner, that you have 2 solid tackles, 2 very good tackles, and we think we do. They play off each other. They're very close, and that helps. I'm very proud of Luke, how he came through his rookie year, which I didn't think was bad. As some people, he struggled a little bit like all rookies, but I thought he played very good. We were very happy with him, but then moving him to tackle to see how he thrived there at his natural position was fun to see.
Tristen, 4 of the 5 of you guys now have a chance to be together for a long time. Continuity kind of wins in this league, and yet there's a lot that you haven't done, and nobody wants to be last in anything, right? So how much with your contract and everything that's going on, do you feel responsibility now that, like, okay, now the rubber has to meet the road here, we got to be one of the better offensive lines?
Yeah, definitely. Now we go. It's really exciting. I think we can take a big step this year, especially in the run game. I think that's been a big point of emphasis the past couple of years. So I think now it's up to us. We got to put it on our shoulders. I think we carry that task well. We're totally up for it. So it's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be really fun. I think a lot of us, it's really cool to see how much we all care and want to be an elite unit. So it's gonna be a lot of fun to go out there and give it our all.
Along those lines, how do you feel like you've grown as a leader and as a captain, especially over the last couple of years?
Yeah, I think it's kind of the vocal aspect. I've never really been a big vocal leader. It's been kind of hard. I get ahead of myself and start talking super fast, and I'll stutter a little bit. But I think just calming down and kind of accepting that role a little bit. 'Cause we had a bunch of like elite veterans when I first came in, so like they kind of naturally had that leadership role. So now like when I kind of had to step into it, and even last year, being captain for the first time, that was an unbelievable feeling. But just knowing guys look to you and you got to step up a little bit and just take advantage of it, run with it.
Tristen, you were one of the few athletes that has been so open about the challenges that you dealt with, some of the mental health struggles as you prepared to move to the left side. Now that you've achieved this next step in your career, I guess how can you kind of use that platform to help others? What would you say to some other guys that might be going through some challenges but are maybe afraid to talk to someone about it?
Yeah, I think just that's the thing. Just talk about it. Just get it out of your head. Get it out in the open. Because it'll just fester. If you just let it sit there, it just festers. And it's okay to talk about it. I was going through it. I was anxious. I was nervous about making a switch. Some people thought that was stupid. I was like, "This is what it is." We all deal with it. People think we're invincible, but we're people too. So that's the biggest thing is just talk to somebody about it. Get it off your chest and feel a lot better.
Jason, when you handed him the contract, full well knowing you were about to make him the highest paid offensive lineman ever, what was the look on his face? What was his reaction when you handed him that paper with the number on it?
Isn't it soon?
I never physically handed it to him, so I can only imagine what it would be, though.
It was good.
It was good.
It was a good face.
It was good. It was good. He owes me a beer. That's not.
Couple.
You've gone from, as Tristen said, that the elite guys, the Bradys, you won a Super Bowl with, and now you've turned this roster over. You've got your new quarterback, and Tristen now in the fold. Just how do you feel about that job of getting that roster turned over, not taking a dip like a lot of teams do? And how do you feel about this roster now as you move forward in the next few years?
It's hard not to feel great. We've got some great players. The season's, you can't predict what's going to happen during the season. There's a lot of things that are out of everybody's hands, but we have the foundation of guys like Tristen that you build a team around, and Antoine as well, Baker, got some great players. We keep going on and on. Mike, I feel like I'm going to leave people out. Could just keep going on and on. It's really cool to, when you look out there and you see all the players that we have, not even mentioning defensive players that are young and veterans, and it's hard not to get very excited. But the thing that gets me the most excited in talking to my people is just the camaraderie and the vibes that are going through our office right now, from players to coaches to Bobby in the training room, the equipment room, everybody. It's at an all-time high right now. So hopefully that transfers to the field, but it's better than not having great vibes right now.
Hit that too?
What was the question?
Just the roster. Now that you've turned it from the Brady years and this is kind of your team, what do you see on this roster and the guys around you? How good can you be? How quick can you get back to the Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think we have a lot of guys that care. I think Jason said it as well. One of the closest units I've been a part of across the board. It's fun being out at practice. Guys love coming out there competing, and that's what it's going to take. Us competing every day, coming out with attention to detail, trying to get better, and pushing each other to be the best we can be. Super Bowl is obviously the goal. I think that's the goal for everybody. Just doing whatever it takes to get back there and lifting that trophy. It's a damn good feeling. So got to do it again.
A couple more. And I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, but you could see that camaraderie on the field when Yaya Diaby went down. He's a special part of this team. how, what kind of went through both of your minds when that happened? I don't know, Jason, do you have an update on?
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. I'm Peter Blake, along with JP Peterson.
I think
here.
that gives you a pretty good feel of what the
Yes.
press conference was all about. We try to, we could cut those up, and I get it, but I want to give you a feel for the entire press conference.
Yes.
Like you're sitting right there, right? You're sitting right there.
Absolutely. Can hear the baby in the background crying too. You're right about
got
that.
some lungs.
Yes,
got some lungs.
It does.
So great day for the Buccaneers. I think we got a little bit more information there on a bunch of other things. Yaya Diaby's injury, number one, and just how, the question I had for Jason and Tristen, how they feel about this roster. And for Jason, it's true. Typically, after a Super Bowl like that, you got to rebuild the roster. You have a couple of down years. You don't make the playoffs. They haven't done that. They haven't taken a dip. They've been making the playoffs. I mean, granted, it's been an easier division, no question about that. But they, everybody's got a chance to win it, and they've won it 3 years in a row. So, and this roster, as we heard Dan Orlovsky talking about earlier, is one of the better rosters in the league right now. I don't think there's any question about it. And a lot of it comes down to Baker Mayfield. And listen, we can debate this all we want. I think Baker's in a situation that he's never been in. 2 straight years with kind of the same group of receivers that he loves, a great group of receivers. And I said this about Jalen McMillan. I think eventually he's going to be a number one in this league. He's going to be throwing to 3 number 1 receivers in a 3 wide set most of the time, plus Kate Otten, plus Rashad White, plus Bucky Irving. I mean, there's a lot in an offensive line that I think is going to be real good. And you heard Orlovsky talk about Graham Barton. You've heard Tristan Wirfs talk about Graham Barton. They all think he's going to be a really, really good player. It'll take a little bit of time, a little bit of transition, but that's a big upgrade. So across the board, man, this is a team I think that has Super Bowl expectations.
Yeah, and I think Jason Light has done it the right way. You build an offensive line to protect your quarterback, which you're exactly right. You never had that with Baker Mayfield. People talk about Mayfield's size. What do? You build a wall around him. What do you do also on the outside? You give him weapons. You already have Evans and Godwin there. You talk about McMillan. I wish he could complete those deep passes to Trey Palmer. That's what I see. They don't have their timing, and you said it best the other night. We didn't get a chance to talk about this. Palmer doesn't complete his routes. Go ahead and expound on what you were kind of telling me off air.
In a couple of instances I've seen where even Jalen McMillan did it the other day, they come out of their break and they look for the ball, and your first instinct if you're 40 yards downfield is to slow down, because by the time the ball gets there, you're going to be 60 yards down the field. But think what he's learning now is that Baker Mayfield can throw the ball 60 yards, 65 yards in the air.
Sure.
And Baker is a shorter quarterback. Rarely do I feel out here that, he's being challenged. You can't see, or he finds a way. And of course he's got a great over the top delivery. I mean, you've got guys, he looked like at a Phillip Rivers, who's 6'5", but his exit point was about here because he throw kind of from the shoulder. At 6'1", Baker, has learned to go up top. So his release point is probably at, 6'8", 6'9", with his release point. So he doesn't really he gets some balls batted down. All quarterbacks do, maybe a little bit more than, say, Brady did.
I think that's more because of the offensive line getting overwhelmed,
especially last year.
Point of attack.
Just go back and look at the last interception of the season against the Lions. Where's that pressure coming? Right up the front by Robert Hainsey.
Correct.
And that's the reason why they went out and got the best center in the draft. That fell to them at 23, so pretty good.
Yeah.
So everything that you look for in a team in terms of camaraderie. I mean, is it the best roster in the league? No, it's not the best roster in the league. Is it a top 10 roster? Absolutely. Are they one of 8 to 10 teams that can win the Super Bowl? Yes, I think they are. I think they have a quarterback who's proven he can win playoff games, and play big in big moments. He's had, some really good comebacks last year against the Falcons when they needed it most, right? Even, against the Texans, he brought him back. This defense didn't hold the lead.
Exactly.
So Baker's capable of running a 2-minute drill and coming up with big plays in the moment. He's not scared of the moment. He's one of those guys I think you can count on. I think the guys out here have tremendous confidence in him. I think he's a top 12 quarterback. Tyreek Hill thinks he's top 5. I'll take that.
Yeah.
So
why not?
Offensive line, if the offensive line gels and they stay relatively healthy on defense, I think this is a team that can go deep into the playoffs. And then you need things to break your way. But I think they're capable. There's 20 teams in this league that are not. The Bucs, I think, are.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll see. We're just 1 week away, less than a week.
First
preseason game versus the Cincinnati Bengals. Some weather, some inclement weather next week. We'll see how that goes. We'll see how that all works out. But overall, besides Yaya and Jordan Whitehead, it's been.
But you dodged the bullet with Yaya.
Yeah, definitely.
It's going to happen, but that's why they went out and they got some depth at that guard position, and they drafted another guard. And Hainsey can also play guard as well.
Sure.
All right, so we'll take another break. We come back on the other side. I want to get to some other stories. Big night in the Olympics. I mean, not only the transgender boxer controversy, which we will get into. If you guys have some comments on that, jump it in the comments section. Matt Matera's going to join us from the Pewter Report, too. I got him. He's going to come walk on over and talk a little football with us. And news on the FSU ACC front as well. Encouraging news if you're a Florida State fan. We'll get to that and so much more here in our second hour. We're brought to you by the Gold and Diamond Source. It is August now, of course, and they've got a new gemstone. They've got great, incredible selection there, great customer service, great local company. It's the Gold and Diamond Source. Guys, if you're looking for jewelry, that great watch, something like that, they've got an incredible selection at the Golden Diamond Source. Back at 3.
This is The Strike. 102.5 WHPT, HD2 Sarasota, Tampa, St. Pete.
Hey Tampa Bay sports fans, this is two-time LPGA major champion Jane Geddes here. After winning the US Open and 10 other LPGA events, I wanted to try something completely different. So I came right off the top turnbuckle and landed in the crazy world of WWE. And yes, you heard that right. That's WWE. Working for the Vince McMahon as the VP of Talent Relations for the company. Now, though, I want to work for you. Everything I've done in my life, I've done with incredible passion. And now I've turned my focus to leading the best real estate team in Tampa Bay, the Geddes Gordon Group with Keller Williams in South Tampa. If you're looking for a new home, an investment property, or looking to sell your current home, we will give you major championship level service. When you choose Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of our inner circle, like family. So if you're looking for a few golf tips or a golf course view, we're going to stripe it right down the fairway. Call me at 813-485-6808 or go to gettysgordongroup.com, or again, give me a ring at 813-485-6808.
Get ready to dazzle this summer with the largest jewelry collection at the Gold and Diamond Source. Feel the heat of July with the fiery brilliance of ruby. That's July's birthstone, ruby. Well, that's my birthstone. I'll take one. It's perfect for adding a touch of luxury to your summer style. Embrace the unique beauty and significance of July's gemstone for any occasion, from beach parties to evening soirees, and mark a special 15th anniversary with a stunning ruby, the traditional gem of this very important milestone. And take advantage of our exclusive offer, 5 years of interest-free financing. That means you can own a $5,000 ring or watch or anything and pay only $83 a month with zero interest. And when you shop online, you can enjoy a special summer discount of 15% off July's birthstone. Make this summer unforgettable by visiting the Golden Diamond Source and finding the perfect piece to shine in the sun. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Omerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. As we head into summer and hurricane season, you must make sure that your home is fully insured. Over 40% of people in Florida are not fully insured because property rates have gone up lately. Your home is worth more, so it needs to be insured. Call the great folks at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799 to make sure you're fully insured. And also, you might just save some money. There are new companies coming into the state all the time. In fact, we just shopped our homeowners insurance, and I'm telling you, folks, we saved over $550 because Charity, the great customer service at Italiano Insurance, did all the work and found us a better company and a cheaper company. She'll do the same for you. 813-877-7799. Do something about these high rates. Shop them around. Could save you lots of money. It's Italiano Insurance. Been doing business here locally for over 60 years. 813-877-7799. Tell them JP sent you. Are you looking for an honest AC and plumbing company? I mean, that's like trying to find a humble Saints fan, right? Well, try my friends at Third Generation AC and Plumbing Services. Been in business since 1995 here locally. And listen to what one of their customers said. Quote, the gentleman providing the service was exceptional, on time, knowledgeable, professional, and experienced. He was efficient, cleaned up behind himself, and did the work expeditiously. He not only repaired a sink, he repaired our toilet that was constantly running. We have used this company several times. They are awesome. Says it all, folks. Testimonials really say it all. Call 813-961-8024 for honest, fast service. 813-961-8024 or thirdgenerationplumbing.com. We also do AC.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show for our second hour here at Bucks Camp. We got a nice cloudy moment here.
Thank you.
Feels
Thank you,
so
God.
good. We got a nice cool breeze.
Thank you.
For our second hour, we're going to get to our Baker Mayfield interview. What else do we have?
Well, we got that. That's we
Okay.
got Tyke Smith. We can go out to that because we didn't get that presser.
We'll hear from
We'll
Baker.
Yeah.
We'll hear from Baker. By the way, Matt Matera is going to join us from the Pewter Report, get his thoughts. I have to leave at 10 o'clock, so practice goes till about 10:30. So there's stuff that we miss. So
Sure.
we'll bring in his eyes and ears and see what's up.
Absolutely.
Wanted to get to a couple other stories, by the way, thanks to our great sponsors, Third Generation Plumbing and Air Conditioning. If your air conditioning goes out in this heat, you guys are going to be panicking, right? Go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com. They also do AC. They've been in the AC business since 1995. Call them. They'll get over there right away. Super honest technicians, super professional. John Rodriguez, good friend of mine, is the owner of the company. He does not put up with any shenanigans, folks. That's why they've been in business for so long. So if you need an honest tech, and that's what you're looking for, guys that do great jobs for a great price, it's Third Generation Plumbing and AC. Great people over there. All right, so Florida State obviously involved in their lawsuit with the ACC. So they finally got the documents redacted, of course, because they want to protect whatever nuclear secrets are in these ESPN agreements. But what we're learning from a lot of it, last night I read a lot of the reporting from attorneys that have been looking over this and following this, like Scott Jeeves, talked to him as well about this. So it appears that ESPN has an option for this grant of rights. The grant of rights is the big sticking point here that's going to determine what the exit fee is going to be. So the grant, as it reads, as many legal scholars that I read last night, most of them agree that there's an option in 2026 for ESPN to pick up the contract to 2036.
Okay.
In next 10 years, basically. And that's what's at stake here, because that's where the money does not go up. It stays static at about $40 million a year, which is $40 million to $50 million less than the SEC and the Big Ten are making. That's why FSU is getting the hell out, because of this horrible deal that the ACC cut many, many years ago, in cahoots with ESPN probably. So this has been the crux of the whole deal. So as you read these, as these legal scholars read it, they say that once ESPN opts in, if they do opt in to go the rest of the way, then there's a vote that is needed for 2/3 of the ACC to vote if they want to go forward by the bylaws.
Mm-hmm.
So this is what's, there's the legal sticking point. Now, most people say, okay, it looks like to me that there has to be a vote. The ACC can't just rubber stamp this. The commissioners can't just rubber stamp this. This is common sense too, right? Why would you not do this? So if that's the case, if 2/3 of the schools have to vote, they'll vote no. And then the FSU's out of their grant of rights and they can leave the conference with very little penalty.
Correct.
So that's, and again, this comes up to legal interpretation, but I think most people would agree, and that's what makes common sense. And so if this is the case, you may see FSU announcing before the August 15th deadline, which is coming up, that they're leaving the ACC. Now, a settlement, which we've always talked about, is the most likely outcome here. A settlement could come in the next 6 to 8 months. Those things usually happen around deadline time. If FSU says we're leaving, then they're going to feel very good about their legal arguments that they're going to win this case. And I think from all I've read and from what Scott Jeeves says and most attorneys feel, they've got a strong case for a reasonable exit fee, not this $517 million exit fee that they've been talking about. So, again, I think another legal win for FSU. And I think this is one of the things that ESPN's been trying to hide and the ACC has been trying to hide, that this is clearly the case, that there needs to be a 2/3 vote. And I would dare say that they can't get that.
Everything that you've heard, JP, they're not going to the Big Ten. They're not going to the SEC. They're going to the Big 12. If they do settle out,
I don't believe that.
Okay.
I mean, that's just people reporting that stuff.
Correct.
So
no validity to that at all.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I'm just using common sense.
Right.
I don't know. Those are just reports, of people talking within the Big Ten anonymously.
Right.
And those specific people, whoever they are, can't unilaterally make that choice. Are there people within the Big Ten that probably don't want Florida State? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are there people that do want them? Yes, of course. Of all the free agents out there, Clemson, Florida State, their media rights are worth more than anybody else, and they're one of the few schools that can come into the Big Ten, bring their media rights, which are estimated at $100 million worth $100 million a year, and they would get a payout of say $80 to $90 million a year. So they're on the plus side. If you bring in USF, because they're an AAU accredited, and this is nothing against USF, their media rights just aren't nearly what FSU's are. I would guess in the 20 to 25 million range.
Right.
So if they brought in USF, they would be at a deficit in handing out an equal share of $80 million. And this is very simplistic, folks, that I'm talking about. There's a lot of different things going on, but I think just to make you like, why is FSU, but they're hard to work with and nobody wants to deal with them. It's hogwash. Oh, they're not an AAU university. First of all, the people that control the AAU accreditation, I read an article the other day. Again, believe what you read. It seemed like a good, well-sourced article, a reputable journalist. It's the people of the Big Ten, the academicians of the Big Ten, control who gets these AAU accreditations.
Right.
And Florida State is clearly close to getting one. So I would think if they want to get them and bring, I think they're all very comfortable with FSU as an academic institution. It's not like it's some community college. They're very highly thought of in the academic world. They're not Harvard. I'm not saying that, but
Correct.
They're just as good as many of the other Big Ten schools. And they can award them an AAU accreditation and get that hurdle. I don't think it's that big a deal. A lot of people that I've talked to that have been athletic directors and conference leaders have said it's not that big a deal. It's more for, there's things that athletic directors have to do to, quote, save face for the academicians, and this is one of them.
Right.
So I think the media rights are worth way more than an AAU accreditation, and they can get that anyway.
Well,
So
it's Paul Feinbaum.
I don't think Paul Feinbaum is a hack for the SEC.
Yep.
He's going to crap on FSU every chance he gets. So he has no validity or credibility in this argument. He's completely compromised. Frankly, anybody at ESPN who talks about this is completely compromised. They hate FSU. They screwed FSU in the playoff. Everybody knows it. So, I mean, they can talk all they want.
Mhm.
They're not in control of Fox Television, and they're not in control of the Big Ten. And those are the people that are going to make the decision if FSU comes in. So I don't give a rat's ass what Paul Feinbaum says or anybody who works at ESPN that has an opinion that FSU is not good enough or not wanted to be in the Big Ten. I think it's complete BS.
It is.
And that's my opinion.
Right.
So
I think it is BS too.
whatever that's worth.
And, well, it's worth a lot here on the JP Peterson Show.
That's right.
What do you guys think? I tell you right now, we can always go out to this Baker Mayfield interview if you want to. But
No, I tell you what,
yeah.
I want to get to some of the other subjects.
Okay. All right.
We got to get to the thing that broke the internet last night. And before we talk about the transgender boxer, I want to talk about Simone Biles.
Absolutely.
And Katie Ledecky, who won her 13th medal last year, which is the most medals won by an American Olympian. So one of the greatest to ever do it. We're witnessing greatness in Katie Ledecky. She was phenomenal last night again. And Simone Biles. Did you watch that performance?
I did watch some of it. Yes. Yes.
I'm sorry, guys. If you're watching Bears versus Titans in the Hall of Fame game, while Simone Biles is competing in the all-around
Right.
and watching her floor exercise, there's a lot more football to watch. This happens every 4 years, and it's probably the last time she's going to perform. And her floor exercise was just breathtaking. She did not miss a beat. She stuck every single landing, 12, 13 feet high in the air for someone who's 4'8", spinning, flipping 5 times. How the hell do you do that and land on your 2 feet?
No idea.
And don't take it. It's just insane. I've never seen anything like it.
She's got to be up there as one of the greatest athletes of all time, right?
For me,
you can't do it. I can't do it. I don't think there's a lot of people that can do it. It's a specialization at the end of the day.
I'm bound to pick up my keys. I get dizzy.
Right.
I mean, are you kidding me? It's just unbelievable. So I want to get that out there. And of course, the thing that broke the internet last night was the transgender boxing controversy. The Italian girl who was going for the gold took 2 punches 45 seconds in to what many believe is a man. And that the boxer has been gone through gender testing in 2023 in the World Championships and was kicked out. So can we not agree on what a man and a woman is in terms of boxing? And, there are reports that, she has female parts and cyst this. And I don't believe it. It's an XY chromosome. It's a man. It's a man, baby. And he fights like a man.
You went all Austin Powers on him.
And it's in the Olympics, for God's sake.
Dude looks like a lady.
And your boy Jake Paul stepped up.
Yes.
And said he's going to put the Italian fighter, Serini, I think her name is, on his next MVP card.
It makes sense. I mean, he's made all kinds of money for Amanda Serrano, and it's good publicity for him. And again, that's why I continue to say, everybody that downs Jake Paul, look at some of the things he does off the ring, off the mat there. Not his antics. His antics get the ratings. His antics get people like us to talk about him. But look at what he does, especially for women's boxers. Ask Amanda Serrano at that press conference. Made her a multimillionaire. She even said it.
So this is overshadowed in some way Simone Biles' performance, which is even worse.
Yeah.
Which is even worse, in my opinion. And it's just there's no room for it in Olympic boxing, in my opinion. And you can see the absolute outrage across all of sports. I was texting with Brooke Bennett this morning, the Olympic gold medalist. She put up some posts. It was just, she was, and a lot of female athletes are just disgusted with this.
Sure.
And it's not about,
inclusion and all these other, social issues, woke and all this other nonsense. It's not about that. It's about protecting women in sports,
right.
And they've had to fight so long
issues
for that.
with transgender
right
people.
make another division if that is the issue. I don't understand why everything
in a
has
sport
to,
like boxing,
why does everything have to be about a participation trophy or something along those lines? Why is our world like that these days?
It's women's sports,
right?
If he wants to compete on the men's side,
correct,
and see how that goes.
Or just make
Probably
another make another division for the transgender. It's easy.
And there was another U.S. athlete, shot putter or discus, I believe, and I'm sorry I forgot her name. She is from Clemson University, competing for the USA, and she put out on her social media that she's having trouble paying her rent because a lot of these track and field people, they don't make a lot of money. If they don't, you get money if you medal. It's not incredible amounts of money, but she was having issues with that, and Flava Flav, your boy, stepped up and said, "I'll pay your rent. I got you. DM me, and we'll take care of you."
Nice.
And she did also.
Why is he my boy? By the way,
she also took a shot at the Clemson football players. And was like, "All these football players are getting all this money, and they don't win anything." I'm like, "Well, Clemson, they've been pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, you want to couple national championships.
Yeah,
so that might not go over well.
No,
when she gets back to the
Clemson. It may not.
And seeing as the football players. They basically pay for every other non-revenue sport, off their backs.
Right.
So she might want to walk those comments back a little bit. But I'm glad that Flava Flav stepped up and
needs to walk it back or walk it out, if you will.
Either one.
Yeah.
All right. Let's take another break. When we come back, Matty Butera from the Pewter Report is here. He's our eyes and ears on the second half of practice since we have to be over here chatting with you folks. So we'll chat with him when we come back live from Bucks Camp here. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discreet treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business.
Take your business or nonprofit to the next level with the power of video. Red House Streaming offers complete studio production services at our state-of-the-art facilities. Put our experience and expertise to work for you. From initial concept to final delivery, we'll handle it all and bring your vision to life. As your all-in-one production partner, we offer comprehensive marketing packages that not only showcase your brand, but amplify your reach. Contact Red House Streaming today.
Hey, if you love golf and the new Top Tracer virtual golf experiences that have taken the golf world by storm, well, you're going to love the new Top Tracer range at Rogers Park in Tampa. It combines the fun of competing virtually on the world's greatest courses like Pebble Beach or St. Andrews with an outdoor range experience to track your ball, not just hitting it to that net. I love it. They have great brand new spacious covered bays, huge fans blowing down. It's very enjoyable even when it's hot. So grab your golf buddies. Great price, $25 an hour up to $45 at peak times. Balls are included, and you can also play the new short course for just $9. It's all at rogersparkgolf.net. To reserve a bay, go to rogersparkgolf.net. I'll see you there.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to Bucks Camp here. We are live as we've been all week, sweating out here, schwitzing out here. Brought to you by the great folks at Bay Area Modern Medical Center and the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com. Matty Matera from the Pewter Report is here with his nice logoed shirt.
That's right.
Looking beautiful, my friend.
Thank you very much. Coming in official. First time we've done this in person.
Yes,
We're usually
very
on the
nice.
stream. So.
Yeah, very nice. And we were just talking about Rogers Park. You're a golfer.
Oh, yeah. I've been
You just
golfing my
played
whole
out there.
life.
Yeah?
I'm usually pumped if I shoot in the 90s. I'm not a good golfer, but I am an avid golfer.
How do you like the Rogers Park course?
I am a fan of it. What I like most about it is the front nine, in my opinion, it's pretty long. It's pretty deep, but it sets you up for a solid back nine because it's a little bit shorter. And typically, I wear down once the round keeps going on, especially in this Florida weather. But because you're swinging away and maybe gripping a little bit harder on the front nine, because the back nine's a little bit shorter, I feel like I play better on the back.
They got a couple of holes right on the water there too.
Yeah, that too. I feel like I'm in like Seattle or the Pacific Northwest on
highly
the
underrated
14,
course
15.
and very affordable, by the way. And they now have the Top Tracer out here. We got to get you guys out there. We're going to do a little event out there, so you can play like Pebble Beach.
Yeah,
and you do, and it tracks your ball, and it's freaking fun. St. Andrews, whatever great course you want to play, they got about 20, 25 in the computer there. So instead of hitting into a net like you would a regular simulator, you're hitting it into the driving range. So it's cool.
Yeah, it sounds amazing.
Super fun. Go out and try Rogers Park. All right. So what did you see last half hour of camp? I missed that part. They go a little bit more 11 on 11. What'd you see?
Yeah, so it's always fun when they do the 11 on 11, getting some good on good when you have the top corners and safeties going up against the top receivers in this case, even though Mike Evans didn't play a ton. He did practice, but didn't go too much. There was a lot of Trey Palmer, obviously, and Jalen McMillan. Some good back and forth. I wouldn't say it was the most high profile of practices that we've seen so far. Defensively, Jamel Dean got an interception. Don't make a scene. It's just Dean, as he likes to say. That's important because, as Todd Bowles said a couple of days ago when Dean got his first interception of training camp, we're going to have to drug test him after. So Dean, we spoke to him after, and he was kind of joking about how he can never get the approval of Todd Bowles. He's still working on that. But Dean holding on to the football is gigantic because he hasn't had an interception in 2 seasons, and famously he had 2 against Jameis Winston in week 2 against the Saints. So Dean holding on to the football was great. The tight ends as well.
Explain the catch to me, because the first one he had was kind of a bobbled ball, popped up in the air, fell in his lap. You better freaking catch that one.
Yeah.
What was this one like?
So Baker was admittedly taking a little bit of a risk trying to throw it over the middle. And from what I recall, it looked like the Bucs were actually in zone defense. So Dean had to kind of read and react, and he kind of ran into the middle, caught it in stride, and started heading the other way. I wouldn't classify it as a pick six. I'm sure one of the O linemen that were further back may have been able to kind of cut him off even with the speed. But overall, it was a nice athletic play.
Yeah, and listen, Jamel's usually in good phase. He's usually does most of the great work of a corner, but at some point you got to catch the ball.
Yeah.
You got to catch the ball. You got to make the play. And hopefully this is a little bit of a confidence booster, because that can get in your head. It can get in your head when that ball's coming your. I remember asking him, was it last year, maybe 2 years ago? When was his last interception?
2 seasons ago.
Yeah,
so
he had one. He had a big one in the end zone. And I remember asking him about that. I'm like, what were you thinking when the ball's coming your way? He's like, catch it. Catch. But it can get in your head.
Yeah, because
it can really get
I would
in your
imagine
head.
too, because that playoff game against the Detroit Lions, that first drive, he should have had that interception in the end zone. And I bet, because the ball went right to him, I'm sure it was slow-mo looking like a beach ball. Like, oh my God, I have to catch this football now.
That's what you're thinking.
Yeah, and he didn't. It's almost like the easier ones, it's more pressure because it's like you should have this.
You just have to react. You're not thinking.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You're not thinking, and you're just making plays. And I think for Jamel Dean, that's kind of big for him because he has everything else. He's lanky, which Todd Bowles loves as a corner.
Yeah.
He has speed. And you know what? I think he probably saw what happened to Carlton Davis and could think, that might be me after this season if he doesn't really get it done production-wise. So, hopefully big things are ahead for Jamel Dean because the Bucs are going to need him.
Ben Bredesen talked as well, the now probably starting left guard who came over from the Giants, I believe. The Giants,
Yes.
yeah. I think he's looked good. I think he's a pretty average guard. We've had below average play there for the most part, so it could be a step up. Tell me a little bit about what he had to say.
Yeah, so as far as his play goes, there's been nothing egregious that I've seen, which is good, really, from either the offense or defense, just in terms of, you don't want to see sloppy plays. If interception like Jamel Dean, you want it to be like a good athletic play, not just, Baker threw it up and it was a can of corn.
Right.
So for Bredesen, I think that's certainly been the case as an offensive lineman. Really, the big question is going to be, is he an upgrade over Matt Filer and Aaron Stinney, who were here last season?
Jesus,
now,
you're an upgrade over Matt Filer.
yeah,
Come on,
upgrade in Mets,
yes,
for
of
sure.
course. Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, in terms of him speaking to the media after, he talked a lot about just the camaraderie of this offensive line, which has helped so much with the communication. Because when you think about it, and we saw it yesterday with Tristan Wirfs getting the big extension, all of his teammates that were there with him in the press conference after. I mean, he's best friends with Luke Gedeke. He has a very close relationship with Robert Hainsey and Justin School. So Bredesen's coming into an offensive line room that are all boys. Like, they're all like great friends. So he said the chemistry has been so great right out of the gates. Like, they're hanging out once practice is done. You think you'd be sick of like being around your teammates after a while. He's like, no, we're going into everybody's room right after. He also said he's a huge fan of this offense. And sure, he even said what I really like. He said, this isn't the company line. I actually really like the offense that we're running. Because, sometimes the players are just going to, no one's going to go out there and say, this offense is terrible and I can't wait to get traded or like whatever it is. But yeah, I mean,
Mr. Devin White.
Yeah, good point. So I think he's fitting in really well. He's talked about how much Tristan Wirfs, having him next to him on the offensive line is a huge benefit, as it would be to anybody. So he's got a good head on his shoulders and steady as they go,
Elijah Klein, I'm watching him in one-on-ones and watching his feet. I like him. He's a big kid. He seems to be a really good technician. He's quick off the ball.
Yeah.
I think now you got a little bit of depth issues now with Suo-Opeta going down with the ACL, but that puts Elijah Klein, I think maybe if he was a practice squad, maybe now he's probably going to make the team if he can continue to play like he's playing. I think I asked Bowles about him the other day, and I think they're very confident in his abilities.
I'm very excited to continue to watch Elijah Klein because the whole write-up on him coming out of college is that he is a hard-nosed run blocker because UTEP, that's really all they did was run the football. But so far, talking to guys like Graham Barton and Cody Mauk, they've really complimented on him about what he's been able to do as a pass blocker. And I think, like you said, the fundamentals, getting down the traits and the handwork and the footwork has really been a big benefit for him so far. So, unfortunately, you never want to see injuries like what happened to Suo-Opeta. But one of the first thoughts that I had after was, wow, this is a big chance for Elijah Klein to maybe not necessarily crack the starting lineup, but to solidify himself as like a really good depth piece on that offensive line. And then another thing of note with the O-line, Brandon Walton the other night at night practice got some reps in at left guard, probably because obviously Suo-Opeta got injured, but he's another name to watch as we move forward in training camp.
Big kid.
Has some starting experience, not a ton, of course, but started a little bit and played 4 games last year.
He looks more like a guard than a tackle anyway, I think. Yeah, so we'll see if he can be but they've got some depth on that offensive line.
They do.
Think, and nobody has depth on an offensive line in this league. So I think if you can have it, they've got some right there. You mentioned Devin Culp. While I was out there, he had a couple of plays, and I can't remember him dropping a pass in 11-on-11 all camp. Otten has and other guys have, but I can't remember him. He's smooth. I like what I see at him, and we have to kind of understand, and I'd love to get your opinion on this. Yeah. These are different types of tight ends. You know, the inline tight ends, the Gronks that we used to have, and even to some degree, Keefe, who I don't think is going to make this team because this is a different type of tight end. They're going to be split out more, maybe, you know, kind of off the line, not in line, asking them to drive defensive ends off the. They have to block. Yeah. But we're not talking about guys that we need 260-pound, 70-pound guys that need to be in line blocking off the line. So this is a different type, and I think Devin Culp kind of fits it. Athletic, catches the ball very naturally. I think he's got a good shot to make this team as a 7th-round pick.
Yeah, which is crazy to say, right? Because that does not happen all the time. And I think the benefit of this offense, and it will be a benefit to Devin Culp and even Payne Durham, is that there's not as much reliance on the tight end in terms of just having several tight ends on the field. That was the name of the offense last year. They would do a lot of 2 tight end sets. And obviously Cade Otton wasn't even the third. He was borderline 4th option in the Bucs offense last year. He may be that this season as well, but when you're only playing 1 tight end and you have 3 wide receivers, and obviously we've seen the emergence of Jalen McMillan, they're not going to ask too much of the tight end. So if you're going to say for Devin Culp, what's kind of the thing you're worried about with him, it is that blocking, because he does have the speed, but he's not exactly, you know, gigantic, and he certainly needs to put on weight and strength for next season. And obviously we don't want to jump too far ahead. But what is going to be required of him in this offense is really more of a receiver and not having to do a lot of the inline blocking. So he came to the right place with the Buccaneers, and it'll be very interesting. You mentioned Keefe, because you're going to have more receiving tight ends and not necessarily blocking guys. I think the Bucs are probably going to have a guy like Justin School, an offensive tackle, who was starting when Tristan Wirfs was still waiting for his contract to be done. He's going to be more of the swing tight end instead of just actually
an extra tackle.
Instead of just asking another tight end to do it. So when you're looking at roster configuration, and Bowles kind of mentioned it today, it's about what we need, not necessarily like who's the best player or whatever the case may be. I could see a scenario where the Bucs only hold on to 3 tight ends, and it's Cade Otton, Payne Durham, and then Devin Culp, with Keefe probably either not being on the team or being on the practice squad, just based on the needs of the Bucs offense.
I would agree with that. Matty Matera from Pewter Report joining us here. What else has caught your eye over this first week and a half?
So, not trying to be a little too negative right now, but obviously outside linebacker becomes more of a concern with the injury to Yaya Diaby yesterday. But I haven't overly been impressed with Marquise Watts and Jose Ramirez, 2 guys that are really trying to crack this roster. Marquise Watts had some opportunities last season, a big game against the Titans. But let's remember, Watts was an undrafted free agent Jose Ramirez was drafted by the Buccaneers. He was a sixth-round pick.
Sixth-round pick.
Yeah, but only made the practice squad out of camp.
They're not big guys.
They're not big. Watts looks like a
He's
physical
jacked.
specimen. Yeah, he's
jacked,
but
he's not 6'5",
Yes.
long arms,
Exactly.
edge rusher type.
So, there's a big opportunity with these guys because, you got Joe Tryanchenko and Anthony Nelson, and Chris Braswell becomes that much more important. But this was a great opportunity for Watts and Ramirez specifically to move up on the depth chart. And, they haven't been terrible by any means, but I'm just...
They haven't flashed.
They haven't flashed. I'm just looking to see a little bit more from those two guys with a position that is of super importance to the Bucs this year.
Well, I have my garnet and gold glasses on when I'm watching Kalen DeLoach.
Yes.
And by my count, I've seen 3 sacks in the last couple of days. I don't know how you guys count. They're hard to tell, right?
Yeah.
Because they blow the whistle.
Would he have hit him? Would he have not? Yeah.
But I think he's starting to flash in the last couple of days. Your thoughts?
I would absolutely agree. I think starting out of the gate, again, not bad, but just not super noticeable the way that Servase Dennis was, who had an interception a couple of days ago. He didn't practice today. The way that, KJ Brett obviously was going to be in a starting role, but the way he's just kind of emerged onto the scene as this trash talker and vocal leader of the team. But Kalen DeLoach, the last couple of days, has really turned it on. He had several sacks in yesterday's practice. He recovered a fumble in the night practice. He got some works with the twos and a couple of starters here and there in today's practice. Levante David spoke glowingly of him after practice today when we spoke to Levante David. So the arrows are pointing up.
Every
single special teams. Yeah. And I don't know if you watched a little bit of the Hall of Fame game last night. I know you guys mentioned it a little bit. The kickoff.
Watching Simone Biles, bro.
Right. Yeah, of course. I'm just saying, for those that did watch some of the game last night, the kickoff is going to be a fun and a big factor for sure, because you make one or two guys miss and bam, you're off to the house. So you need guys that are going to be able to have speed, obviously, and tackle, and Kalen DeLoach certainly has it.
Who do you think wins the return job? We saw Bucky take one to the house at the night practice.
Yeah.
And that's hard to tell, too.
So right now in the running, it's interesting because you got Bucky. I really like Cameron Johnson. He hasn't practiced the last 2 days, but the undrafted free agent, number 9. You had Trey Palmer in there as well. Based on how the formation is lined up, Bucky Irving makes sense because he's going to read it like a running back, like he is. Jalen McMillan, I think is kind of out of it now because he's just established himself as wide receiver 3. You don't want him in that role. So I would say Bucky Irving, probably followed by Trey Palmer, because Trey Palmer has a more legit shot to make this team. But don't rule out Cameron Johnson either. I really like what he brings.
He was playing in the night practice.
Yes.
He was making play after play after play. And where's number 9? And the way he runs, I'm going to say it, he just reminds me of Peter Warwick.
Okay.
The way that he runs, his gait, the way he catches the ball, the way that he moves, it's just, I don't know. And maybe it's just the number. He's special.
I hate to break it to you, though, but if he makes the team, he's going to have to change his number because Joe Tryanchenko is also number 9. So don't fall in love too much with the number.
But
9.
I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, he's very shifty.
Is there any room for him?
I think there is. The Bucs probably would have to keep 6 wide receivers in this case, but I think there's room for him. In most cases, yes, he's fast, but the NFL, it's a league full of speed
4-3
guys.
Yeah.
But the way he's so shifty and he's able to make defenders miss, in most cases, his size would hurt him on any other team with the wide receiver room. But the Bucs already got the height with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jalen McMillan now, that it's almost an advantage, the fact that he brings something completely different to this offense compared to what they already have. So if you look at the depth chart, you obviously got Mike Chris, Jalen McMillan, Trey Palmer, Rakim Jarrett and Sterling Shepard are the two guys kind of fighting for that 5th spot. But if they were going to keep it 6 wide receiver, it makes so much more sense. Let's just say hypothetically Jarrett gets that 5th spot. If they're keeping a 6 wide receiver, it makes a ton more sense for the Bucs to put Cameron Johnson on the active roster and have Sterling Shepard as a practice squad guy versus the other way around of Shepard on the active roster, when many teams may pluck Cameron Johnson if he's on that practice squad, where they might not do it as much with Sterling Shepard.
Yeah, I agree, because if they wanted Sterling Shepard, they could have had him.
Exactly.
So, but Cam's a little different. He's flashed. All right, partner, promote all the great stuff going on at Pewter Report. You guys got podcasts every day.
We do, yeah.
6 a day.
Yeah, we'll have the Camp Insider coming up soon. We got the Pewter Report podcast today at 4:00. Going to talk a little bit more about the rookies and, of course, what happened in today's practice. So follow us on Pewter Report TV, for our YouTube channel, and you can follow me at Matty4_Matera on X and all that fun stuff.
Thank you, brother.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it. Great job, as always.
Thanks for having me.
Matera, Pewter Report. All right, our last break. We'll come back on the other side, clean things up here, and any comments, we'll get to your comments as well as we wrap up here at the JP Peterson Show, live from Buccaneers camp. JP here to ask the question, are you planning an event, meeting, or conference? If so, you'll want to call the designers and production professionals at Extravaganza Productions Incorporated. With over 35 years of experience in the events industry, designing and producing every type of small to large event, they can provide a huge resource for design ideas, audio, visual, sound, lighting, decor, and entertainment to turn your event into an incredible experience for the entire audience. Folks, I've worked up close and personal with this group at many national events and Tampa events, and they have unique capabilities that help you save time and money in the planning and execution of your next event. Don't delay. Call these pros today at 813-621-4700 or check out their website at extravaganzaproductions.com. Tell them JP sent you, and they'll provide a free initial consultation for your event. Extravaganza Productions, the best in the business. Getting old is inevitable, but feeling and looking old is avoidable. If you're feeling run down, your workout sucks, or your sexual libido is not what it used to be, check out Bay Area Modern Medical Center. That happened to me a few years ago, and I found out I had the testosterone level of a second-grade girl. That's not good. Our food, environment, and stress can cause your T levels to drop. Bay Area Modern Medical Center can help, and they are different. They offer customized hormone replacement for both men and women. Christopher Lugo and his medical staff can help you restore your energy, your sex drive, and your feelings of well-being. It was a total game changer for me. I have way more energy, lost 30 pounds, and I'm performing better in all areas of my life. Nobody wants to talk about sexual health, but it's key to a balanced life. We offer discrete treatments with real-world results. So if you're suffering from a lack of interest in sex, ED, or lack of sexual stamina, Dr. Lugo and his staff can help. Take your health care to the next level at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man, Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for Third Generation AC and Plumbing. And Third Generation really says it all, folks. The owner, my friend John Rodriguez, has been in the AC and plumbing business since 1995. They built their business on honest assessments and doing great work on time for a great price. Simple, right? Did you know many AC techs are incentivized on big commissions to sell new AC units, and you might just need a drain cleared? So if you want someone you can trust, that's John Rodriguez and Third Generation Services. Check out the 5-star Google reviews. If you have a plumbing or AC emergency, call 813-961-8024 and a human will answer the phone. That's 813-961-8024 or go to thirdgenerationplumbing.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here as we wrap things up on a Friday here. A couple weeks into training camp, and for the Buccaneers, it's been incredibly successful. A couple injuries of note, but again, all across the league, including Justin Herbert, there are issues everywhere. So it's football; it's going to happen. But for the Bucs, I think so far, a couple weeks in, we're doing all right.
DeAndre Hopkins too, 4 to 6 weeks.
Right,
so
yeah.
I mean, getting up there in age, big time new contract. That's the reason why, and that's why going back to Mike Evans, a lot of people said, well, it doesn't necessarily look good. Knock on wood, Evans has been able to stay relatively healthy. So Hopkins hurt. I mean, it's a part of the game. It's the NFL, not for long. So
part of it. All right, want to get to this Rays sale deal. There were it was a report in the New York Post a couple days ago. We had the author on yesterday. I thought it was a very interesting discussion. If you want to see that, it's in the 10:30 segment of yesterday's show from the New York Post. And it actually came up at City Hall on Thursday, according to John Romano in his column. He said it even showed up at City Hall on Thursday when Councilmember Lisette Henowitz asked if anyone in St. Pete's administration had talked to the Rays about the report of the proposed sale. Questions that we were asking yesterday. So thank you, Lisette, for asking those questions that need to be asked in a $2.4 billion public expenditure. Romano continues, it was a legitimate inquiry considering St. Pete and Pinellas County have committed $600 million towards the construction of the stadium at the historic gas plant site. It's way more than that. Interest and everything else. The Rays later told city officials that there were no sale conversations.
Of course not.
So the New York Post was completely wrong on this, according to the Rays, who would not comment on the story. The reporter contacted the Rays. They said they did not want to comment on the story, yay or nay. Totally understand that, but they didn't. They could have said no. There were no sale, but the reporter spoke directly to two people that were involved in the sales negotiations. I've spoken in person to one as well. And I vetted him, and his story completely checks out. That he is still interested in buying the Rays. Not saying that the Rays are currently negotiating with him. I'm not reporting that. Do I feel that they are? Yes, according to what he told me. Yes. So be that as it may, to claim that there were no sales discussions, I think is there's been multiple reports on that. So I don't think that's true. I don't think that's true. But whatever. And here I'll say it again. I am 1,000% hopeful that this St. Pete deal works out tremendously well, the stadium is full and all the jobs are filled. Everything goes the way it's supposed to. That's great for St. Pete. That's great for the Rays. It's not great for Rays fans who still won't be able to get there during the week. Whatever. That ship has sailed. If it's never going to happen in Tampa, so be it. I hope that all of it goes well. I really, really do. Do I think it will? No, I don't. But I pray that it will, because that's what's best for St. Pete. Later on in the column, let me read gotta get to the end of this.
I've got to laugh because I heard this and I can't believe Romano actually said this in his words.
Listen, John's a fine columnist. He's entitled to his opinion.
Sure.
I see him out here all the time.
Sure.
Doesn't necessarily talk to me, but that's okay. And you put out a column, people are going to, talk about it. They agree, they'll disagree. It's part of the business. He said, whatever success the Rays have had on the field coincides with Sternberg's arrival. That's true. Could he decide to cash in on his investment and ride off into the sunset someday? Sure, that's possible. It would also be regrettable. John, I think you're probably solo on that, bro. Except for maybe a few people that work with Stu.
Right.
I think the new ownership would be universally welcomed here by the fans. I don't think it would be regrettable at all. So
check social media, check Facebook, check Twitter, check the hatred for Rays fans for ownership.
And the column, and it's a great read, so go read it.
Sure.
Is basically saying that he doesn't believe that there were sale talks. The Rays say there weren't sale talks, that everything's hunky dory, rainbows and lollipops
and unicorns.
No.
Not so much.
Yeah. So look. Does it matter? Well, yeah, I think it does matter if you're talking to a Tampa-based group that doesn't want to build in St. Pete while telling people in St. Pete you're here to stay. I think that's an issue, especially moving forward with a $6.5 billion project. Your portion of it is essentially costing you $2.4 billion of public money. I think the scrutiny is more than warranted, as John admitted in the piece. So, but I don't think necessarily the answers were as candid as they could be, but we'll see. Long way to go in this process. And again, I hope it works out tremendously well for St. Petersburg. And I hope it works out for the Rays. Although I did hear that already Brian Auld said, when asked about spending more money on the team, we now have a $700 million mortgage. Well, wait a minute. We were told all the way during this thing that this is going to give you money, and it's one of the reasons that the city council should vote for it. It's going to give you more money that you can put back into the team. That was the talking point. And now I don't think they ever mentioned having a $700 mortgage will affect their ability to put the money back into the team, which is really,
I don't care at this point. Like
I thought you were putting this is the whole idea.
The whole excuse through this whole friggin' stadium debacle. That's exactly what it is the last 10 to 15 years for Rays fans was they get a new stadium, they spend more money, and now it's going to.
Let's hope they do. Let's hope they do. Let's hope. Calm down.
Yeah.
Let's hope they do.
Yeah.
Everything's going to be fine, and they're going to spend tons of money. They're going to fill the place. Everything's going to be wonderful.
Everything.
I hope it all does.
Yeah.
I really, really do.
Stu's the greatest owner of all time.
Yep.
The Rays are
Yep.
the greatest people of all time. They're the smartest people in
Go
the room
Rays.
because they won so many
Go
world
Rays.
championships.
Go.
So many. So many. I mean, the championships are just going to stack up here the next 10 to 15 years.
Listen, they've won a lot of regular season games under Stu Sternberg.
Right.
They've been very competitive in the regular season. But as John Smoltz has said on this show many, many times, you got to, they haven't figured out the postseason. You got to pay for players and big-time players, big-time pitchers, big-time hitters who perform in the postseason. And at this point, Stu has never shown the ability or even the want to do that.
Yeah.
And you can talk about Wander Franco's contract and all these other contracts that were supposed to be paid. Look at that. When these guys, when the big number comes up, they get shipped out. And that's the way it is if you're a Rays fan.
Sure.
So we're going to talk about the Bucks. That pay their players, Tristen Wirfs.
Yes.
And the Lightning.
Mike Evans and Baker
We'd love for the
Mayfield.
Rays to join the party.
Yes,
we would
it
love
would
for the
be
Rays
nice.
to join the party. So let's hope it's not about their $700 million mortgage now, which, by the way, is going to be mostly paid by the huge windfall they'll make on the real estate and, of course, the $400 to $500 million in naming rights that they get to keep. So if you're already crying poor, man, I got no time for it.
It's all
and
his
I don't
team
think
does.
the fans do either.
It's all his team does.
All right.
is cry victim.
Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate you guys so much. Peter, great job out here the last couple of days to get everything up and running here.
Thank you.
I'll be back here tomorrow on social media. We won't have a show, but I'll be back here for tomorrow's practice, giving you all updates as well. I'll have a little video for post-practice as well, so check out that. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk to you on Monday.